Fanatics Fest New York City 2024 was by far one of the hottest events in the city, and they've announced that they're going to run it back in June of 2025. So let's get you all ready for the return with Lance Festerman, CEO of Fanatics Events. Last year we had you in studio, sir. We got you on the Zoom. Thank you for a great event this past August, man. How you feeling?
My pleasure. And now that I've actually run a show and it was good, now I'm in higher demand. You know what I mean? So we got to book us months in advance. I'm just kidding.
So that's what I want to know, because 70,000 fans showed up. They had a complete blast over 3 days at the first Fanatics Fest. At what point during the 3 days did you stop, kind of look around and be like, you know what? We got to run this thing back.
I think Saturday night. It was such a busy day Saturday. I sat in my office, or the office up there, and I exhaled for the first time in about 4 months. I think that was the moment where I realized, okay, we're going to allow ourselves to feel like we've accomplished what we wanted to accomplish, and we built something unique and special for sports fans and collectors. And it started to sink in a little bit. And then, honestly, it was Monday morning. I'm at the airport, and I was thinking, I think we need to do this again, and I think we need to try and move it a little bit earlier in the summer so that we can capture those current American football players and some of those current international football players, soccer. So we started looking at dates almost immediately the Tuesday after the show ended and figuring out, can we do this in a different time frame and really run it back and triple down on it.
What was kind of like the hardest part in terms of putting it together through that process?
I think it was not really being able to explain what it was. It was an original concept. It was a new idea. And so we spent so much time trying to figure out, how do we explain this to people, right? The largest immersive sports festival, Comic-Con of sports, what are we building? And really trying to storytell. And it was really fun to be there on site on, Thursday before it opened or Friday as the show opened, and see our league partners or even our own Fanatics internal partners walk in the door of the Javits Center, look around and be like, oh, all right, now I got it. And now that we've done it and we've shown it and the fans have experienced it, I think there's a much more, true understanding of what this is. Because it hasn't been done before. So now having that under our belt, we can really, I think, grow it, since we can more easily define it and storytell it.
Agreed, because as soon as I walked in and I saw the WWE activation, you see Gronk and those guys walking out, I said, oh, I see what they're doing here. Okay. All right, so what was your favorite and I guess most viral moment of this year's event?
I think there was a ton of them, but I think just the different sort of athletes we had wandering around the show, and they weren't just wandering aimlessly, but you'd walk over and you'd see Brady throwing footballs to kids, right? Or you'd see Gronk dressed up as Brady, or Olivia Dunn dressed up as Skeens. It was just wild, all of these kind of surprise and delight moments. But I think one other thing that was really cool, and you might have flashed it up on the screen, was the last panel of the last day of the show was the NBA commissioner, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Sabrina Ionescu, and there was someone else on the panel, and it was about social justice. And it was such a thoughtful, insightful, interesting conversation about sports, but more about humanity. And it was such a cool way to end the show, because we had so many different kind of circus-like exciting things, and then to have Paul and Tyson, chopping it up on stage, doing a press conference and all this insanity. And then to have the kind of final period to be a thoughtful commentary from some serious luminaries in sports and human rights talking about that was cool. It made me feel like we've really done something special and interesting and impactful here.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much. You can kind of take it in as a whole, or you can pick things out a la carte, and it all depends on what your vice is. Are you a collector? You're a WWE fan? You want to watch The Pivot? You want to watch the Roommates show? There's a lot of Knicks fans. Matt Rimpey had a line, autograph line. I'm like, this dude is just a fighter. He's a professional boxer in hockey, and he's got a line down the wahoo to get autographs. So it's whatever you want Fanatics Fest is for you. And I think my viral moment was I was covering the blue carpet for the 4040 event, and Tiffany Haddish is hitting on me right there. You know, I'm getting a little giddy, right? I get a little red in my cheekbones. I knew I made it because my cousins and all in the group chat was like, "Boy, you doing something up there in New York City."
Back to my storytelling. How do you explain that? You know, in a 30-second TV
Exactly.
spot? How do you say, like, we've got collectibles, we've got athletes, we've got leagues, and you might get hit on.
And you might get hit on. I think I should have went on GMA the next morning and be like, you know, I think I found love at Fanatics Fest. Forget an autograph. I hope I found love. So, I mean, you basically, when you came into the studio last year and you were talking about it, again, you were like, you didn't know how to, like, it was like, how do you explain what this is? But you had this confidence in this aura because you guys knew you were going to have success with it, especially with like the high profile celebrities and athletes that y'all had show up. So how do you match or exceed this year's success?
What's fun is, and I know this might sound boring, is we have data. Like, we now know, like, who came, right? Was our guess about the type of audience that would be there, right? And so we kind of, and we know the types of people that came. We know what they liked and didn't like as much. So it helps us really say, what do we double, triple down on, right? And so we know collabs and exclusive merch and products. We need more of that. We need more apparel and footwear companies. That's what they want. Those panels and podcasts, people love them. Photos and autographs, more, better organized, bigger. So you really can look at it and just listen, like, ask your fans, what do you want? What did you like? What was exciting to you? And then double down on it. And that is such a privilege to be able to, serve those fans, right? That's what we're in the business of doing, is wowing and delighting those fans. But then also just the ability to really listen to them and then deliver it. And we'll have more space at the Javits Center. We'll be about 25, 30% bigger, so we'll have a larger footprint. But we know what we're doing. I appreciate that you thought when I came in last time I knew what I was doing. I sold you well, but now we really do know what we're doing.
Man, you said the Javits Center is going to be bigger, but my back still hurts from walking the Javits Center. That was
No.
Oh,
Get your
man,
steps in.
I got to get a pair of Skechers for this one for next year's. But June 20th through the 22nd, 2025, at the Javits Center in New York City is going to be the second Fanatics Fest. Lance, thanks for hopping on with this, man. This was fun.
My pleasure. I'll be here every month, give you an update.